I'll take off.
All right, so we're not going to go back to the other link. We're just going to stay in this link, but you're recording now. Okay, so I have moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Wienko. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Georgian Bay rise from closed session at 4:36 p.m. to report adopted special council closed minutes of April 5th, 2022, adopted council closed minutes of April 11th, 2022, received legal advice regarding Delaware Resort matters, received legal advice regarding 10540 Georgian Bay Shore, received legal advice regarding Brandy's Cove Yachting Center, and received legal advice regarding Island 195. All those in favor of rising from closed? We have arisen. All right, now I think we got to go back and approve a bunch of bylaws, if I'm not mistaken. And I got to go back some pages here.
Mr. Mayor, while you're doing that, can I ask a question of our clerk at this time?
You may.
Clerk Way, in the archive feed of this broadcast we came out of closed, will this be spliced back into the previous open session? Most of my constituents watch the archives and don't watch live, and I would hate for them to miss this tail end of the meeting.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be posted into video recordings, and it'll be clearly noted with the date saying, so it'll be Council May 9th, Part 1, Council May 9th, Part 2.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, so next on the agenda from my perspective, and Clerk Way will correct me, I'm sure, is passing a bunch of, like when I say a bunch, about 7 bylaws. Is that what you want next?
Yes, please.
Well, I'll start reading them. And if anybody wants to talk after I read it, we'll talk. Otherwise, I'll take the vote. The first, moved by Councillor Douglas, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Be it resolved the Council enact bylaw 2022-038 being a bylaw to amend parking bylaw 2018-006. And Councillor Wienko. You're muted, Councillor Wienko.
Okay, sorry about that. I got a problem with this. The reason that we're looking at this is because of the parking issues we've had on South Gibson Lake Road. And there was 2 issues. There was one where these mud trucks and ATVs came in en masse from these clubs and tore up a countryside, and they were parking all over the road. I can see that we want to stop. But the other issue I brought up is that at the end of South Gibson Lake Road, there are numerous public trails that people from outside the township and even myself drive down there at the end to park and walk these trails. And right now there's no parking signs down there. So what I thought the staff was working on is some kind of system where we could have a permitting issue with people who wanted to go for walks on those roads. So that basically at the end of Gibson Lake, you would have a permitting system similar to we had at Port Severn. So they were going to extend the Port Severn permit to include the end of the South Gibson Lake Road. So locals can get that permit and use the end of South Gibson Lake Road, or visitors could get a hold of a permit. So this basically says no parking on South Gibson Lake Road. That means people can't go for walks on these trails and these beautiful trails down there. So I want to send back to staff, and maybe they can work with me, but I thought they were working on some kind of permitting issue.
Staff?
And also there's a landing down there too. There's Gibson Lake Landing. Does that mean you can't park at the landing? Because it's part of the road. It's just an offshoot of the road. So this doesn't make sense to me, this way it's written.
Ms. Way.
Unfortunately, Ms. King had to leave due to the timing. It's my understanding that this bylaw was based off a resolution of council that directed us to prohibit the parking. I do recall a conversation of a permitting process at Councillor Wienko, but I don't know if it was feasible, and that's why we went back to just posting signs to prohibit the parking.
Well, I can't approve this. And I'm asking my fellow councilors not to approve it either until this issue is resolved, because there's some beautiful trails down there that no one can access now because you have to drive to them. You can't walk to them. You got to drive to them and then walk them. And now you can't do that.
Well, perhaps we should send this back, refer it back to staff.
Yeah. I like the idea of the
I remember
permit.
that
You take
conversation.
a 47 permit and you add to it. You say, okay, and it also applies to the end of Gibson Lake Road. So the permit's good for both places.
And then post signs that say no parking without permit.
Yeah, but then you got to look at, people outside the township. We don't want it, we want to allow people outside the township to park there and go for walks. It's not a very popular spot. You're not looking at 10 or 12 cars. You're looking at 1 or 2 cars at a time. And it's quite a big turnaround area. In the summertime, there's no plowing. So there's a big turnaround area down there. So it could handle quite a few cars, but we do not want those mud trucks in there.
Ms. Wang,
How do you propose a permitting solution would not allow the mud trucks? Just seeking clarification.
Well, so first of all, the permitting process is for residents only.
Mhm.
So for Port Severn Park, they're free to residents only, or you pay.
Yes.
But so in this case, if that was expanded to the Gibson Lake, that would keep the mud trucks out because they're outside of the township. But then people who wanted to go for walks down there, public could, if you're outside the township, you want to go for a walk, you can apply for a permit. Something like that. It could be worked out. But these blanket regulations is just, it's not workable.
Ms. Boutia.
Through your worship, I anticipated this bylaw amendment would cause confusion. But if you go back to the 2018-06 bylaw, and I went back and read the sections that refer to Schedule C, because really this is only an amendment of Schedule C, which puts in the same category the Port Severn Park and the South Gibson Lake. I think that's what the intent of the amendment was. So the first point that talks about Schedule C is in clause L1, which states no person shall park a vehicle without the municipal no person shall park a vehicle in the municipal lots depicted in Schedule C. So now Schedule C includes both the Port Severn Park and the south end of the road at South Gibson of this bylaw without first having paid for and display a permit at the Park and Pay. We don't have that facility yet at Gibson, but it also refers to with the resident permit parking, which is what Councillor Wienko was referring to. So the addition of adding South Gibson Road to the bylaw was to have that parking permit apply to both. So if you read the bylaw 2018-06 L4, that's what that clause is about.
Thank you, Julie.
Well, okay, can we postpone it? Like, I like to read that. I like to read it. Obviously, we didn't get all the information with this bylaw. We just got the bylaw itself without the report. So if we can get a report to go along with that to say how you resolved it. But the other issue that we haven't resolved is how do we permit out of town people to go down there and park and walk those trails? It's a very popular, like the Five Winds Touring Club are the ones that maintain them. They can't get to them now. They have these miles and miles of trails down there and they can't get to them because there's no place to park. So you've excluded that club from our township. And they'll say, that's not fair, because they've been going, these trails have been around for 20, 30 years. and now you're saying they can't come to the township. That issue has to be resolved.
Through your worship, that was the direction in the motion, and if council is reconsidering something different at this time, we can definitely refer it back, but we would need a clear direction, and I'm not sure, Clerk Way, if this is any time for a new direction in terms of a motion.
It can be deferred back to staff and not adopted. I believe the bylaw does. I mean, I can share my screen, Councillor Ranko, and show where section L4 stipulates Schedule C, and perhaps that'll provide clarification. But at this time, there's no budget for any type of display meter to be posted and maintained at that location.
No, but I think the staff could think about it a bit more and determine how a public member can get a permit for Gibson Lake Road. And we can we can sort out who gets them, who doesn't.
Councilor Jarvis.
I'm curious because this has just been brought to our attention is this is an amendment to current bylaws. So what we're saying is that it's going to be handled the same way that Severn Park is being handled. If you get a permit at Severn Park, is it specific to Severn Park or is it specific to our municipality?
The parking permit itself, a resident parking permit, it's generic. It doesn't state Port Severn Park on it. It just says resident pass.
No, I understand that, but if you are a visitor to Port Severn Park, you have to get a pass to park there, correct?
Yes, there's a park and pay type of machine. Yes.
Is that exclusively for Severn Park?
It'd be difficult to enforce it somewhere else because they'd have to go to Port Severn Park to get their pass to drive down to Gibson.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if they had to go to the municipal offices to get a permit, it'd be the same thing, wouldn't it? Sorry, my cat just ran over my computer.
We knew something was going on. We saw the tail go by.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sorry about that. If somebody has to go and get a permit from the municipal office to park at Gibson Lake Road, or I guess, no, we're talking about a park and pay similar to Severn. I got it. Okay, never mind. Issue.
No, but I could imagine that we could issue a parking pass, like a year-long parking pass, just like we do now that you can use for the Port Severn. We could issue ones for South Gibson Lake Road. I mean, they'd have to be printed or somehow have some indicator on them.
For display, yeah.
For display, like, you know, the one you get just hang from your rear view mirror. And I believe we do sell those permits for the Port Severn Park too. We were talking about it anyway at one point, but no, I'm sure something like that could be created, but they'd have to be printed. It would take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Ms. Boutia.
So through your worship, if we want to, at a very minimum, have the resident passes bypass the no parking at Gibson, we could approve this bylaw change and come back with future solutions, because right now the direction is no parking. So if we want to open it up a little bit, we could approve this bylaw change that at least it opens it up to residents, and have staff bring back a report for a future another amendment with solutions for how do we make it accessible for the public that are non-residents.
Councilor Rienko.
I would go along that if you had a specific permit for Gibson Lake Road, and that only applies to residents, but there has to be another process where people outside the township can make a request to the township for a permit to walk those trails. It has to be for walking those trails or whatever. It just can't be for mud trucks. We don't want them in there. But the point is, it's for walking those trails. So if you come up with a process that you can screen people for what they want to do down there, that's what I'm interested in, because I do not want to exclude out of town residents like the Five Winds Touring Club, who have been using those trails, who built the trails 20 years ago. Now we've said you're not welcome in our township, and that's not fair. They can't get in there and clean them. They didn't clean them last year because there was no parking sign. So the
Okay.
trails were not clean last year, and they got to be cleaned every year.
Okay, so do you need a resolution separate from the bylaw resolution? You need a resolution for direction to look into how we can best issue permits to the walking trail people from out of the township.
Karen, through your worship, I'm looking for to see if Karen has any way that we could take away an action item at this point in the agenda.
Are you interested in I mean, we could adopt the current bylaw and then add a secondary clause that says, and that staff be directed
Yeah,
to
that's what I'm,
investigate further options for public paid parking or permitted parking.
yes, perfect. You wrote the line.
What I said. Exactly.
Councilor Wienko.
That's going to require a change to the policy. So why don't you make the change to the policy for both issues at the same time and bring back the policy? You're passing half the policy now and you're going to make the other half later on. I just don't see it.
Ms.
There's no
Booth,
emergency on this right now, but
Well,
if you get back in another month, so.
That,
Well, I guess
that
there
means-
is.
That means that between now and then, we keep with no parking at all.
Yeah. Okay, let's pass it today with a commitment. You'll come back. How are you going to handle? And it's got to be for walking or whatever. It's not for mud trucks. It's got to be for some kind of
trailers.
a hiking permit or something like that.
I
Okay.
can't, there is no differentiating with a trailer or without a trailer. When the trailer is attached to the vehicle, it becomes
I
a
know.
unit, and we can't distinguish that. That's beyond our control. And
Oh,
that
I
has been
understand
explained to council.
I understand that.
that's so wrong. Sorry, Ms. Booth, I have to disagree with you completely. I can tell when a vehicle has a trailer on it and when it doesn't.
Yes, but the legislation says that when the trailer is attached, it becomes a vehicle.
Anyway, be it resolved that council enact bylaw 2022-038 being a bylaw to amend to amend parking law bylaw 2018-006 and that staff be directed to investigate and report back to permit non-resident parking. This is moved by Councillor Douglas, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Councillor Cooper.
Happy to support this, and I'd also like to ask Councillor Wienko to coach all the trail walkers to let the air out of the tires of the trailers, please. Thank you.
I don't think we're going to put that into the bylaw, sir. All those in favor, oh, Councillor Wienko.
Just now, does this apply to the full lengths of South Gibson Lake Road? And if so, you have to sign the whole road, or it's just in the area where the signs are now? Like you have to have a sign saying no parking before you can find them. And right now it's only at the end of South Gibson Lake Road.
They have signs purchased already for the permit parking for the length of the road.
The whole length, that's like 5 kilometers? And only about half a kilometer is of interest. You haven't thought it through here yet. You can't put up signs that 6 kilometers. It's sign pollution. Can we talk about this offline? Because I don't think people are going to be happy with 6 kilometers of signs.
Dr. Spilla.
Thank you, Mayor Coots here. I was recently on a site visit at the south end of South Gibson Lake Road, and I do recall that there was signage at the south end, not on the entire length of the road. So if that's the area where I believe that you're speaking to, signage was there as of March.
All right, well, why don't we, my suggestion, we passed the bylaw, we've left it with, we've also given some direction to staff. And it's up to them to come back with a proposal for the non-residents, plus enforce that we don't want any mud truck parking anywhere because they won't have a permit. Ms. Wade,
Sorry, I can confirm that the new signs will just be for the end where the turnaround is.
okay,
Yeah, but the mud trucks could come back. They can park 2 kilometers back or whatever. There's a landing down there, Gibson Lake Landing. They'll just park there and clog that up so the locals can't even use their own landing. So I think we need a site visit with me. If whoever's responsible for preparing this, maybe we can meet and we can talk about it. I think it's pretty well common sense once you see it. So maybe somebody can arrange with me with a site visit.
I think that counts as part of the investigation.
okay. I hope all these bylaws don't take this much time. Are we ready to vote, council? All those in favor with the modified resolution, and that is carried. Thank you. Next, I have moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Douglas. Be it resolved that Council Act Bylaw 2022-039 being a bylaw to name a private road located in and around parts of lots 2 to 3, concession 7 and 8 in the former township of Freeman, now in the township of Georgian Bay, district municipality of Muskoka. Oh, okay. We got a thumbs up. Do we even know what the name's going to be? Yeah.
Hawkins Point Road.
Okay. Yeah, you got it there in the title. The trouble is nowhere does it say that in the resolution. Should it?
Correct. It doesn't have to because it's part of the bylaw. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'll just, I just try. Anyway. All those in favor? All right, the road's been renamed. Okay. Moved by Councillor Douglas, seconded by Councillor Jarvis. Be it resolved, the Council Act Bylaw 2022-040 being a bylaw to adopt the 2022 taxation rates and to establish due dates for payment of taxes and to change penalties from non-payment of taxes. Sorry, for non-payment taxes. All those in favor? That's the way we should do these. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Wienko, seconded by, I'm going to pick Councillor Hazelton because Councillor Bocek has had enough with bylaws, I think. Be it resolved that Council Act Bylaw 2022-041 being a bylaw to exempt the township of Georgian Bay from the Line Fences Act, RSO 1990 CL 17, with apportioning cost of division fences. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Jarvis. Be it resolved that Council enacts bylaw 2022-042, being a bylaw to appoint a chief building official for the enforcement of the Building Code Act 1992 as amended for the township of Georgian Bay and for the enforcement of municipal bylaws. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3. All right. Now we can congratulate Ms. Nicholson. Moved by Councillor Jarvis. Second by Councillor Cooper. Be it resolved that Council enact bylaw 2022-043, being a bylaw to appoint municipal law enforcement officer for the township of Georgian Bay. All those in favor? We're just hoping that bylaw enforcement doesn't have anything to do with cats, Councillor Jarvis. And that.
I hope
And
that,
further.
yeah, that's life.
Moved by Ms. Way.
Can you please read the amended resolution that I sent you for this bylaw?
Oh, did you?
Things are happening on the fly here. I
Well,
apologize.
yeah,
There's,
okay. The amended resolution
change.
moved by Councillor Jarvis, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Be it resolved, the Council Act bylaw 2022-044. You're changing numbers on me. Is that what it is?
nope,
Oh,
keep going.
well, but yeah, it was 43 before, wasn't it?
Yep, so we're still at 44.
Being a bylaw to appoint municipal law enforcement officers in for the 20. You're getting me confused here, but okay. Be it resolved that Council Act bylaw 2020-044, being a bylaw to appoint municipal enforcement officers for this 2022 summer in the Township of Georgian Bay as amended to remove Walker Hunter.
Thank you.
So that was the bylaw I was about to read. Okay. So we're doing the same thing, but one of our bylaw officers has already left.
Correct.
Okay. All those in favor? And the best of luck to Mr. Hunter. Okay, so now we got the bylaws done. Have I missed anything?
Page 42.
I'm getting there. Moved by Councillor Wienko, seconded by Councillor Cooper. Be it resolved, the council adopts bylaw 2022-045 to confirm the proceedings of the May 9th, 2022 council meeting. All those in favor? And that is carried. And okay, moved by Councillor Douglas, seconded by Councillor Wienko. Be it resolved, the council is now adjourned at 5:03 p.m. until June 6, 2022 at 9 a.m. or at the call of the chair.
I don't see Cynthia.
Yeah, okay. Moved by Councillor Jarvis because he's paying attention. Seconded by Councillor Wienko. Be it resolved, the council is now adjourned at 5:03 p.m. until June 6, 2022 at 9 a.m. or at the call of the chair. All those in favor? I think that's your second gold star of the day, isn't it, Councillor Jarvis? That is carried.
I guess I'm getting a promotion. Double pay?
Well,
More vacation, that's what I want.
we'll give you the evening off. But
I'm so
tomorrow,
worried about those 18-wheelers parking on Gibson Lake Road. I've been down that road, it's tight.